There we go. That's seamless now. You're still on mute though.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, so here we are again. Um,
Oh,
I invited Cody, never heard from him, and I wanted to give Lizzie a little bit more time, just because all that stuff that was going on. So
yeah,
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 but
absolutely.
anyway, we can do our thing anyway. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything's come together in a way that I've never had it come together over all these decades.
okay,
And so everything's starting to come together, even in dreams. It's like all processing and coming through finally, which is why they have the court rule that's supposed to be applied that if you have PTSD, there is no statute of limitations. It took me 30 plus decades or 30 plus years, 3 decades plus, to actually grasp everything that was going on, and the pieces are still coming in.
wow,
So that's why I'm an advocate for others that have gone through this kind of peril, and targeting that they have this opportunity, bring their court cases through, because they'll provide their own attorneys to throw your case, and it's coordinated between the agencies like FBI, CIA, Pentagon, Hollywood, which is right, and even Jewish mafia. It's like they're all coordinated,
hmm
and these players are put in place. And so that's why this is going to be very important to have this library of evidence to bring it forward. But I want to go over some of the things today with you, if that's okay,
yeah,
on
absolutely.
some of the things I've not connected before that were right there in front of my face, but
Okay, yeah, yeah, let's
place.
do it. Let's jump right in. So
All right. So basically, what happens is anybody that you're associated with, basically, I'm the author. Let's just establish author of the Matrix story, the Immortals. There's no copyright on the Matrix. There's only copyright on the Immortals. We'll just establish that for new people.
yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, Tom Hanks, Wendy Wasserstein, we've showed that they are the ones that Warner Bros. Says they copyrighted that. Do you have share screen I can show real quick just to catch up?
Yeah, let me open it up for you real quick.
All right, we'll just set that up and make sure that's established. I want to just cover the foundation so that we're ready to roll.
I think you're able to share now. I think.
Okay, let me go to it now. 1 second, and then we'll just cover this over. Wait a second, I'm having a little trouble guiding this up here. All right, here we go. So here we go. You are absolutely right. So let's take a look real quick. So here is again proof. Tom Hanks. This is the copyright entry at the Copyright Office for the Immortals, and that is the title. You'll see over here on the side, on the right, that is our piece right there, copyrighted, the 1998 version, which they must have not realized there was a 1995 version in there, because you'll see Tom Hanks is claiming 1998 that he comes up with it. That Wendy Wasserstein, Heidi Chronicles author, playwright, says she came up with the 1998, also a different date. Both are claiming they wrote The Immortals as hired by HBO and Warner Brothers. Can't be denied. That's going to ace us in the courts right there. So that's, and then they claim the execution is 1999 when Matrix is done. And you'll see the submission letter right here in the top center. Again, real quick, is the 1993 submission letter by James Boyd, the supplied attorney, Tony Rankin, who was not licensed to practice law, who was classmates with Warner Bros. Lead attorney, did not allow any evidence to enter. And this is the June 25th, 1993 submission letter, right to Warner Brother Lane, Warner Bros. Story Department, care of Elizabeth, a friend of Bonaventura. There's a tracking number receipt, all the materials included, including script, partial story treatment, music, everything. What's interesting is the music actually ends up given to this gentleman right here, Yanni. In 1993, when I submit, Yanni does this album through Warner Brothers label, and on it is my music I submitted for The Matrix, Immortals. He played that song and adds harmonica from Warner Bros. Label. Damn him to hell. So what you have is this whole thing going on where it's all, we have all the proofs. None of this was allowed into the courts. All the entries, all the matchups, and we've learned too, this will segue into what I'm going to talk about. Here's Otika Ball. That is the woman who I was engaged to be married with, my fiance, Senator David Boren's niece. Also, Paul Ryan's cousin, distant cousin. That is the one that they use, her birthday, March 11th. Let's just verify that. Otika Ball was born March 11th. No problem. That's on record. Here she is with me at the Rockefeller celebration when we're handled by the Rockefellers right after we submitted in 93, when I'm being courted. top Republican family she's with. And then you have her right here as Neo's birthday, March 11th, right there. Yeah. Man in the High Castle, March 11th. She is in on that too. What you find here in the tape, Man in the High Castle, that is 11/3 in Germany. You reverse the month and the day. So that is March 11th on the Smith evidence being burned. Smith's name's John, my dad's name, Tom, my name, his son. She's burning it. Juliana, my two sisters' names combined. In this also shot review, you have my birthday 7-2 backwards on the clock, which means life in disarray. You have Teak, which is how she introduced herself to Bonaventure at the pitch session. You can see how she looks a lot like Otika right there. They cast her to look like her. There's Otika just for comparison.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And what you have is she's looking down after she left me. That's when they gave the Wachowskis my work when my life was destroyed. You see Teak above, Teak OKU State. Teak went to Oklahoma State University.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you have it. Yeah, you can't deny it. And then in the entries too, let's recap. 11/3 backwards in Germany. That's March 11th. Otika's also got her birthday on the CIA defector who defected. See that? Also there. Besides Matrix, she's the character who defects in the Man in the High Castle. She's also, which is also HBO or a Disney. You also have the tape burning where that date is also her birthday. And the birthday also in the file. You have my son's birthday who was killed December 7th for Takomi on the same file. You have my other son.
What are these ones showing? Just to be clear for everybody.
Right, these are Man in the High Castle, which is stacked. It's okay. Let's look at this real quick. Man in the High Castle is the only vehicle that could possibly steal my work through. Why? Okay. Philip K. Dick's novel is about Hitler winning the war. What is The Immortals about? The architect that he stripped Hitler out of, but keep just the architect, is about Hitler through the war and comes back and runs in our time, which he's doing right now. So what you have is they use that vehicle from Philip K. Dick, changing it to put all my information in, such as these things. Review.
Okay.
His name, my birthday on the clock, or clock. All these watches and clocks have my birthday on it. Again, the burning tape with the evidence. Yeah, when Otika switched, they were able to steal the work. November, that's her birthday. You have this file of all the people that Nazis that the Japanese are going to are aware of now in this rat sheet file. That is Otika's birthday again on that defector, which the Nazis want to eliminate. You have this character, Takomi. Also, that has 12/7. That is my son's birthday who was murdered. This other character in the file has October 14th who was murdered. That is my other son who was murdered. You have 9/11 twice there, just as they did in right here in the Matrix. 9/11, September 11th, just like they did that, which matches my ID from CBN, same dress the same way. Then you go on to this one, my birthday. See the hand at the bottom? It slides over. July 2nd is revealed the last second. The other, this is the assassin who was killed. Yeah, and that has my birthday on him. So my two sons that were killed, their birthdays, Otika's birthday, my birthday, all in this file, and then also my mom's birthday. All in Man in the High Castle. How many birthdays is that? So each main character has birthdays attributed to me, Otika, my sons, and my mom. On this one, you look at this, it says May 23rd. And if I'm going too fast, too bad, because it needs to be covered quickly. Anybody can't keep up, try a different career. What you're looking at is this is very clear and very clear for the purposes we need to make it for in the courts. May 23rd, for those that keep up, thank you. May 23rd is my mom's birthday, except my mom's birthday is May 22nd. Here's the catch, they're being clever. My mom was born in Altoona, Pennsylvania, May 22nd. This character is born in Okinawa. May 22nd, when my mom was born in Altoona, Pennsylvania, it was May 23rd in Okinawa. So this character actually was born the same time as my mom. Very clever entry. That's not all. When they put that entry in, that May 23rd, that is the record of the photo being taken. The character's actual birthday is my birthday, July 2nd.
Wow.
So again, July 2nd, twice. Otika's birthday, also done twice. Now, this character, the woman's name is Wannabe, right? Very interesting, because this is a detective story where they didn't put all my information. Wannabe is the director who ripped me off with the Wachowskis in Animatrix. In the detective story, sticking all my stuff in. So Wannabe becomes the character they switch to in Man in the High Castle. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
So
amazing.
on we go. So let's look at wannabe. What wannabe actually did was stuck this clock right here. That clock with my exact birthday in it. That's director wannabe with the Wachowskis. And this entry right here. This entry is also in the detective story. In Animatrix, you'll see Tom, Park, Althouse across the screen perfectly. When you line them up, it goes completely aligned. Park is made by Mopar, right, backwards, and you
Okay.
have the extended P. The P has a line going across to make the T one way. So P-A-R-K, see the ghost K? P-A-R-K in the middle, T-O-M-A. He points at the L. The T is at the high contrast at the center. If you squint, that's what stands out. House, antique shop to antique house, Tom Althouse, Tom Park Althouse. Very expensive graphic in Animatrix. So let's go back to us back, basically, unless you want to see the birthmark thing in Game of Thrones. But anyway, so what we're looking at is how they take every person in your life and buy them off, and it connects the agencies with the Hollywood studios, with the Justice Department, which is the Injustice Department, with the Pentagon, with the Mafia, Jewish Mafia, and who is Joel Silver's bodyguards? Mossad.
Wow.
What you also have is my sons were murdered in the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why their birthdays are entered in Man in the High Castle. Steven Spielberg, let's review. I'm racing along, but let's just do it. Let's just stick to it.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg goes on a little further. We want to recap this. So Steven Spielberg wants to commit pre-crime. Let's review pre-crime in Minority Report. Minority Report is also Philip K. Dick's novel, who said he never wanted his stuff altered in any way. As soon as he's dead, they alter it. Steven Spielberg takes it in 2002, after his death, the author's death, and does change it abruptly. Captain is not Captain. Tom Cruise's character, who plays in Minority Report, is not a captain, but he is not in the novel, but he's altered to be, because that's my dad's name and rank. So if you go to my dad's military ID, let's just slip over. Here he is. Very interesting that my dad became the captain in the Navy, and he has the exact look as Joe Blake from Man in the High Castle.
Okay.
Just as,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. That's the look. If you look at that and someone showed you that and it was only that face and you're told that that's Joe Blake, they go, yeah, that looks like Joe Blake. They don't. Okay.
Huh.
So Captain John, his name is John, Captain John Anderton, we know where that comes from. So then we have that his son is murdered. Sean is murdered. And that's why Captain John Anderton, Tom Cruise's character, is going to poop in stasis. First of all, in Minority Report by Philip K. Dick, there is no captain. There is no Sean being murdered. There's no son at all being murdered. They
Okay.
alter it, right? They alter it completely. So they alter it as a pre-crime. Steven Spielberg commits pre-crime by putting my dad's rank, name, my son being murdered as the reason I'll be put away on a 302. Later, after my son is murdered, after Spielberg makes this, I'm put away on a 302, just as Tom Cruise's character would be. Look at the bottom here as a service number is 518518, 5959, right? Back to Man in the High Castle. They don't want to miss anything, right? Look at the serial number on the back of the dollars here, the Reich marks. 563-3263, 5959. Repeated, just as on my dad's serial service number. You also have 522, which is 7. You have 59 at the bottom here twice, which is 2, and 2, 7, 2, 59, my exact birthday with the bills. These are very expensive graphics being added to Man in the High Castle. Man in the High Castle has it all through it. You go to basically anything, you're going to see 7-2, my birthday, Man in the High Castle. You're going to see his watch backwards, which means a life in disarray, a life destroyed. That does not look like 7-2. Reverse the image. Looking glass mirror, 7-2. My on the watch means life in disarray. I've got example after example, Joe. It's unbelievable. If you go back to Man in the High Castle one more time, I'm going to show you one more thing here real quick. I want to show you just how far they went on these things. There's so much here. But anyway, here we go. Where's the clock? 1 second. Oh, by the way, here's Joe Blake. Where is he? Is that Joe Blake? No, anyway, forget it. We'll get him later. Okay, let me just not run your clock out here and actually show you a clock. This one's pretty cool on how they did it. Remember we said anything upside down, right, means that that is a life that's destroyed in disarray. So I'm just trying to find the clock face here. Come on, 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 come on. Okay, where are you? Okay, where are you? Okay, here we go. And where are you? God. All right, hold on. Let me just go to all photos and see if I can find it. Okay, there it is right here. Okay, hold on. Here we are. This is fun. Remember we said if you take it upside, let me end share screen. Okay, see the clock?
Oh yeah.
Not 7-2, right? Not 7-2. This is a main piece where the like the whole world is changing for John Smith. Everything's changing in the Man in the High Castle at this point. So what is a life in disarray? Upside down, backwards. Let's turn the clock over. 7-2. Now, this is made known to me by insiders. It's can't be denied. Anybody who would be a shill that would try to shoot this down is full of crap, because this is actually what we're being told by the inside, and there's no way around it. They're actually fans of the work. So what do we have going on? We have anybody that was with me being bought. Now, remember Spielberg? We talked about Spielberg with Minority Report. Here's new information. Meet Kirsten Leslie. Kirsten Leslie wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a famous opera star and singer and actress. Okay, right. She was one of my housemates. One of my housemates. What happens to Kirsten? She ends up being met by Peter, who is the best friend of Steven Spielberg, who meets her, right? She gets offered a stand-in position and says that if she will have sex with him, he will have her as a lead in Sweet Charity and having dinner with Spielberg. It is the casting couch in Hollywood. She says she's not attracted to him, doesn't really do with him. In the end, she acquiesces and does sleep with him and tries to collect the rewards. Anyway, so that was the way they were tearing apart my structure. We were formidable. We were solid. The different housemates I had were working on bringing forward the truth. We would have had our credit. Instead, they're all bought off. Spielberg did the job on her. They went so far also to try to say that I was guilty of attacking and all this other stuff. So she was given to write a letter as part of the Spielberg offer to try to put me in jail. Jeez. But they were the ones with the casting couch. Otika Ball. Otika Ball, while Spielberg handles Kirsten Leslie, takes her away with Disney. With Spielberg. Disney takes Otika Ball away, who was all ready to launch the stuff, was at the pitch session also as a witness to all this. So they take her away. It destroys my life. And they are able then to give the stuff to the Wachowskis. That's how they work. They destroy your life. They erase you. They make you a non-entity. They ignore you. They shut you down. In the TMZ article, they said that I was a know-nothing hack, famous for nothing. And that was the thing that went worldwide. And they said I didn't respond to their calls. They wouldn't take my calls. So that's how they do it. They kill your sons. They take your loved ones. They've now bought my sister with Fitzpatrick, who's the FBI, lifelong FBI congressman. And she's become a monster. What happens is they take everybody you love and cut you off from the entire family. My last surviving son, Aiden, has no family talking to him at all. They cut him off completely. There is a caveat. If he turns on me, he'll be welcomed to the family.
Wow. Wow.
Your own son, who's a witness to your being a good guy. Sophia Stewart's job, now Emma Petrick's job from Imagination Podcast, is to say that I am evil, a monster, cancel all interviews, make none exist, and that way I'm erased. That's her job now for 5 to 7 million. Keep in mind, that was the Kate Chilton letter. That was what was being shown. Let me show you one more thing, and I'm going to have the floor. Okay, go to Kate Chilton. Let's just cap this right now. It's a lot to swallow, but just keep chewing. Here we go. Kate Chilton, that's the one that bought my sister off. That's the one that's working with Brian Fitzpatrick. Look at that monster. So she is LGBT, whatever, but here you go. Look at her resume. So Kate Chilton is a nobody from 1985 to 1987, associate. 1987 to 1993, we're just reviewing, associate. That's what, 6 years? No, 8 years, at least 8 years of being a nobody, right? And suddenly she's advanced in 1993. When did we submit? Let's take a peek real quick one more time. We submitted in, blow that up real quick, and then I'll give the floor over. Watch that. Come on, cursor, work. 1993. So we submitted in 1993, tracking number, receipt, everything to head Warner Brothers story department, everything right there, right? And this lady, what about this lady? She then suddenly becomes from being associate all those years to vice president, senior litigation counsel for Warner Bros. Entertainment. So she becomes in position as soon as I submit this little monster right here, this evil monster. And what happens is it makes her career. So from 2017 till my case is thrown, Joe, she's in position handling everybody, was even at my deposition, and wrote that payoff letter to Sophia Stewart if she would, after she lost summary judgment. 2005, Sophia Stewart hands down loses summary judgment. It wasn't famous for anything. 33 pages, third eye, nothing. Here she is holding the fake Academy Award. Wait, sorry, right here, which she did not win anything. It's fake. She's faking it.
Okay.
All right, so she loses, and she's hired by this monster to try to take me down. If she has me commit suicide and handles me, then she will receive 5 to 7 millions from this little monster right here, Kate Chilton. Now, Kate Chilton, after the case is thrown, she becomes director of content litigation for Netflix. Why? Because that's where Joel Silver puts Altered Carbon through. That's where the Wachowskis put Sense8 through. So she's in charge of handling all this theft after the case is thrown, and had all my notes and discovery through Netflix. That's her next job. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So what happens when it's revealed to us that she had that payoff letter that was on Sophia Stewart's site because she was bragging about the $5 to $7 million offer? She then becomes a judge, first of all, after we catch on about Netflix. And then when we reveal the letter, she resigns immediately. She's supposed to be a judge till 2029 to handle any stuff that we bring forward by the courts in California, to squash it, right? Instead, she ends up running because the letter is shown, a payoff letter, 5 to 7. So I end up on Emma Petrick's Imagination podcast talking about the very letter showing about the $5 to $7 million offers that Sophia Stewart would get if I was destroyed and committed suicide. We show the evidence. What does Emma Petrick do, right? What does she do? She goes for it. She suddenly starts striking all content and taking over Sophia Stewart's role, hoping that with her boyfriend, Nathan, even though he's married, she will get 5 to 7 million in the end.
And that Nathan is the guy that's the hand of God guy. Is that?
He's the hand of God guy. What we have that they don't realize is that when Nathan contacted me on Twitter as Gray Monarch, he gave me a phone number to call. I called that number. It is not the sock puppet head guy they've got next to Nathan to try to make it look like, look, here's Gray. No, it's Nathan screaming at me and cursing at me. It's Nathan's voice. So we have that now on tape.
Oh, nice.
We got it. We got the digital ready to release now. So Nathan and Emma, just so you know, put this out there. Anyone wants to pass it on to him. We're going to reveal Nathan screaming and yelling at me and his phone number that he sent me as Gray. Nathan Reynolds is Gray Monarch. Emma tried to do a little trick and put him on, like say that she had him and on a round table to cover it. This was one of Chilton's ideas. That was another guy with a sock puppet head over. Nathan didn't even want him to wear his gray mask. He didn't even want him to wear it. So he had this guy come on who doesn't look like him at all with a sock head on, who has a Southern drawl. Nathan doesn't have a Southern drawl. And that's clear even with the voice modulators. They have done a big bogus show. Now, Nathan is married with 3 kids, or 2 kids at least, and he's having an affair with Emma. And so that was made very clear. In fact, what's going on now is you've got Nathan on this show, what is STG report, claiming that he was thrown 105 feet through the air, 105 feet through the air, and that he had lacerated face just ripped apart, that his knees were ripped apart, that he has 5 hernias right now, and his spine was crushed into a C. Yet on his meetup page where he sells his middleman clothing, he's bouncing up and down like this, up and down. Tell me if anybody with a crushed spine and 5 hernias can bounce up and down like a hippie while they're playing their music at their little gathering, bouncing up and down continuously. So this guy is a fraud. We're calling frauds out. The true parameters we have, Joe, is this. If anybody who claims to be a truther is causing harm, striking, all that kind of stuff and making excuses, and if they are making absurd claims, we're calling them out. That's our job. We're going to clean up the truther world because this is insane. And what Emma did was Emma took our stuff and struck it in the middle of the night, right? Now she's claiming to host that I had told people not to follow her anymore, and that's why she struck it. No, what happened, Joe, was I was notified by Stephen Yazell that she had struck all my content. I took a look. We have the text and everything from that. He has the timestamps of it also where she struck it. Then what I did was I said, well, if she's struck everything, she's not responding either. She had just asked me to have all my followers follow her. So I said, okay, you can stop following her because I'm not there anymore. She struck all my content, which is the worst thing to do with the truth community. So that's the logical thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you strike your content, you're going to ask followers not to follow anymore, especially if you ask them to do it. It's not the other way around. There's no reason I would say not to follow her if my content's still up. So that's the excuse she's using as another big lie. So that pot smoking duo is the one that is actually trying to take the $5 to $7 million now after I was on the program. Showing about that very letter and the payoffs.
Yeah, that's yeah.
You don't go lower. You don't go lower.
It's amazing what money will do to people's just it's horrible. But yeah, no, I was following that pretty closely on Twitter when all that was happening, just kind of shaking my head. And the amazing thing is the community is doing such a good job. The real truth community is starting to call out a lot of these people, and it's you know, it feels like there's a lot of progress going on.
There's a lot of progress because Emma even offered hosts money. She offered them money to drop me in donations if they drop me. See, wow. It's like unbelievable how far she went. She's so desperate for that $5 to $7 million. And it's like, but that's good. It also weeds out those are the bad apples, you know, those that are actually causing problems and doing wrong. You should never strike content. But yeah, did I not say 30 days? I'll wait 30 days. And for 30 days, I kept it strictly to my page saying, come on, make it right. Let's make this right. They wouldn't do it. They just kept coming on. And so, so now it's like fair game. So Nathan, no, he's not a CIA operative. He's a wannabe. I have agents that let me know that he is not, because I have good ones in the agency that actually are rooting for us, right? That are wanting to see a change in the agency. They're saying he is no part of the CIA. It's all made up. His whole book, Snatched from the Flames, is all garbage. It's all made up. It's all off the charts, ludicrous claims in order to sell books and have the affair with Emma. Wow. And that's, you know, and you guys, his wife needs to get sharp on this and realize what's going on. Because that's why she doesn't list her boyfriend. Otherwise, she always talks about guys. Yeah. So by having the alter ego Gray, she can pretend that she's having this relationship with Gray, but it's Nathan. If you look at the eyes, it's the same eyes, everything under the actual Gray mask. But when you have the sock puppet guy, we call him sockhead puppet, it's totally different. Brown eyes, different eyes, everything else is different. And he's got a southern drawl. They just brought a stunt guy in. Yeah. And that's to convince us that there's not.
Easy to do when you have him throw a sock mask on.
Yeah, it only makes it more clear. It only makes it more clear that is Nathan is that guy. It's just like, oh my God, I can't tell you. Anyway, but you're right. It's all changing for the better now. And I'm, like, but that's my two parameters. If you cause harm, and if you are making ludicrous claims that are not backed up with evidence, then we're calling you out. Mm-hmm. You don't belong in the truth community. You're damaging the truth community. You're trying to profit off it. And that's what Family Guy did. Family Guy did an episode just in October where they revealed Emma and Gray, Nathan. They revealed it. Really? And it is fast. Yes, in episode 23, this October, they revealed what's going on. Now, what's funny is they put me in it too. Okay. They have me as Peter going to get a job at basically the food store, HVB. And the family's like, well, that's going to be embarrassing when we see you there. I was going to do that. Now, what was interesting, they have this like dark-haired girl coming up who's disheveled, right, without makeup. And Brian and I think it's like Joe are waiting to catch this long cold case opened up at a storage shed. Up comes the Emma character coming in like yapping away, and they go like, oh, here she comes, the one that profits off of survivor stories as a low-level podcaster. Right? Then they do this is great. Then in episode 23, right after that, they have Peter at the news office, and you can check it out. He then says to the one producer who's like behind, they can't see him. He's just there for this piece to have this entry. And you hear him go like, what about that guy? Are we going to get rid of that news guy, that guy that's on the news? And he's like, no, he's got the beard and the long hair. And even though he doesn't make any sense what he's saying, people seem to really like him, think he's an authority on the net. So they reveal Nathan, they reveal Emma, and they reveal me in episode 23. It's amazing.
What are your thoughts on Seth MacFarlane? Is he one of the good guys, or is he? I mean,
I think he's having a good time out of the chaos and just having fun with it all. I think somebody that sat back and said, "This world is nuts. I'm gonna make a fortune. I'm gonna go ahead and just have fun with it all, and everybody's fair game." So God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him. I think that's if anything, that's somebody who shakes and stirs it up. And I think it's great he stuck in Emma, Nathan, and me in that. And that was this October when it was happening. This whole thing blew up in October. He did it in October, right? And he's showing that was going to happen. So it's really interesting because he's showing right before it happens, right before they do their move, he's showing their bob. And what it's the Chilton move. So he's revealing the Chilton move, the payoff. So Sophia Stewart's finished. She has no power left over. But after Emma and Nathan drop the ball, they're bringing Sophia Stewart back out of mothballs again. So now she's picking it up. So they had their chance, but they blew it. Emma blew it. And, she should have just talked to us and had it right. But yeah, isn't that something? It goes back to what TMZ said. We said about TMZ when they did that article. The correspondent said, yeah, Tom, this one correspondent worked with me. He said, like I said, if you were smart enough to write The Matrix, you're smart enough to follow the trail. And it's like, so why did Emma and Nathan even try? We're gonna reveal you like pieces in a it's like, no problem. We'll catch it. It's like, don't try. Don't mess with us. We'll get you right out there, especially if my son's lives are at stake. For the memory of them. I'll come on like gangbusters. So yeah. So you're right. It's all working in our favor now.
Yeah. It's interesting, and then the Vincent Kennedy just left Twitter, which was a big deal for a lot of people. And he said there's a big part of the plan coming. So it's kind of like he couldn't be there if the plan was coming out or going to work. And it's just like, it's kind of fun to watch because there's, whether or not, whatever you feel about the Q movement, there's no denying that the people who were in the Q movement and following were the ones that started digging all of this stuff up and started releasing everything.
Q was good when it started.
Yeah.
Q got bought in the end.
Yeah, that's what it's. Yeah, it's tough. Like I never was the one that dug into the post necessarily and did a bunch of that stuff, but I would just love that all these anons were coming out with all this information that they were finding about so many. I mean, even the January 6th tapes that were just released,
right?
We saw those. We saw those right after it happened, because we all these people were finding stuff and presenting it.
Well, that's the thing. Q came and courted me. Q brought me in and was working on our documentary. Q was doing that for 3 years, and then they got bought. Bought. So it was like, and then it was like nasty. But certain members of the Q group came around and stayed true. They were great. In fact, they got burned by it also. So it was a buyout of Q, but it was certain members that stayed true through it. And God bless those guys. Yeah. And I'm working with some of them. I'm working with some of them that are absolutely amazing, like Chad and Seth and others that are absolutely amazing. And they got hit hard for not selling out. So it's like, it's
Lizzie and her brother, the Punisher, I think they stayed true. I actually saw the Praying Medic speak, and he's very true. And like some of the bigger accounts, they didn't falter. So
it became like a shattered glass, and it was like pieces went the right way, pieces went the wrong way, basically. And but that's the way I look at it, like a shattered glass. It was like that they come in, they really think they can buy anybody off. Anybody.
Right. Yep.
And that was so much like when Roseanne just called me, Roseanne Barr, and she was calling me, and it's like when she said, basically everybody has their price. And when it comes down to it, Tom, everybody does. And we were talking about how, children, when they're being threatened and killed, it's like it does seem that way. But then at the end of our conversation, we we're pretty much agreeing that we were holding true. So, and that was pretty cool. It was a great conversation. But yeah,
she's been so impressive lately.
I'm impressed by her. I'm totally impressed by her.
Yeah.
After that conversation with her, that was really wonderful to do that. It was right at the Trump rally, right? Basically off stage, she messaged me and then called me the next day. And I'll tell you, I admire the woman. And she's got sound plans. She took my information, and I think she'll handle it right. I stand by her. I think she's a good person. I think she went through the fire, and she was so sweet to say, she's like, Tom, your story is the greatest story, the biggest story. So that's how it's being presented behind the curtains and behind the scenes. Is she said, your Tom, your story is the biggest story. It's the greatest story. So our story together, Joe, all of us, is the greatest story, according to Roseanne. And that's what's so cool, is it's all servicing now. That's why these minions like Emma and Nathan and the rest of them, my sister and them, are rushing to cash in because they know the clock is ticking. Literally, the clock is ticking, because we are already being looked at as the winners by the main players and the main powers on both sides.
Right.
When you have the agencies queuing in what's going on, I would say these other guys are left in dust. And what's interesting is these middle players and these sellouts like Emma, Nathan, my sister, what happens is they see their only ladder to success is by keeping everything in place, where you're going after Tom and others like yourself. They don't want the system to change. They don't want the higher ups to change their mind, because they're out of a job. Where's their 5 to 7 million then? They don't get it. Right. So we had to be classy and cool and hold together, like what Roseanne and I were talking about. We had to hold together and keep it right and keep it with integrity. And that's what allowed us to be noticed by both sides that were at the pinnacle, the highest points. And these other guys are known as slobs. And that's why Seth MacFarlane, whatever, mocked them.
Gotcha. Yeah. What a great time to have a comedy cartoon between him and South Park. There's just so much that they can mock. And Trey and Matt are just awesome guys too. I don't know if you knew, they opened a restaurant in Colorado where people aren't allowed to tip, but they pay $25 an hour wages. So it's like, yeah,
that's the right direction. That's the right direction. God bless them. That's so good. Yeah, because I was looking at, this whole thing. What we have here is a complete capsulized model of how the cabal works. Who, why, how, and what. We got all the players brought together over this work. When you see that one more time, when you see that entry, I just want to hit it home in a new way. Let me just pop it up.
All right.
When you see this,
we're down to 3 minutes. So
okay, let me just wrap this up then on my end. But see this: Tom Hanks, Wendy Wasserstein, 2 different claims at different times, 3 pages, 2 pages, claiming they wrote and were hired and ordered to write The Immortals, not The Matrix. There's no copyright on The Matrix. That's how Sophia Stewart slipped in, because Warner Bros. Never copyrighted The Matrix. That's an invention of a title by the Wachowskis. The Immortals is what they were calling it. The Immortals is what they took. The Immortals is what they tried to copyright. So back to you.
Yeah, no, I think we laid it out really good today. I'm glad. Some of the stuff, people, if they want to dig deeper, can go back to some of our previous videos. We've covered some of the issues in more depth, but today we gave a really good layout of a lot of different things, a little more in brief, but definitely covered a lot. So yeah, this was a fun one. But yeah, I don't have much else other than just excited to be a part of this, and
well, you're doing great.
See where it goes, and even though I'm a small account, I feel like having this information out there. You are
watched. You are watched. Because that's what Roseanne said. Roseanne said she watched every single interview. Wow. So you're being watched, even though they shadow ban you heavily. Because I get to say what I want on your program, which is great. So you're being shadow banned heavily, but you're being watched by many.
Okay.
High ups too, very high ups.
Well,
you are very much in the game.
Yeah, so, it's nice. It feels like I'm doing something. It's easy to not know what to do when you're a truther. Because there's do you start writing threads? Do you start trying? I'm not trying to build my account huge on Twitter, really, like I would like to, but so it's nice to just be a part and doing something. So,
well, you're doing a great job, and it's like what we're doing now. Like I said, I almost gave up on the truth movement. I was saying I was gonna can it and give up on it, but no, I'm gonna help it reinvent and be really good people and the truthers, the actual truthers. And the parameters, like I said, are if you do not cause harm and if you are not making outlandish claims that are not backed by evidence, as long as you have evidence and they're logical and shown and you're not causing harm, welcome to the truth community.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I'm going to watchdog it. I'll watchdog it now. That's what woke me up. So they kicked me and woke me up to what I should be doing. Perfect. But thank you, Joe. Thanks for this.
Yeah, thanks. Let's go ahead and end it there, and we'll touch base in another couple of weeks or something like that and do it again.
Got plenty to go with. All right.
All right. We'll talk to you later.